Okay, so today I want to talk about the state of society and just how alienating everything is and how much relationships in between human beings have deteriorated because I don't know if you've seen what's happened, but people don't realize this. People don't realize what's changed with society because nobody has really experienced this. None of us have. The only people who have experienced a semblance of it are very old, so they're not there to really tell us, and people aren't really aware that society has changed like a lot, and especially if you go in the far past, it used to be something completely different, and we've lost so many crucial things. And of course, people are gonna easily shut you down by telling you that we have medicine, we have Netflix, we have hamburgers, bro. Like whatever thing they're gonna bring up, but I'm sorry, but hamburgers and Netflix is not good enough. This is not what we want. This is not what life is about. Life isn't about living in a society that is a giant Coca-Cola machine. That's not what society is supposed to be. Society is supposed to be people working together for their own survival. That's what society is supposed to be. And right now, people have completely forgotten what it's supposed to be about. If you walk outside, you'll see thousands and thousands of people that you know nothing about, that know nothing about you, that you've never met before, that don't care about you, that you don't care about. You have nothing in common with them, pretty much. And people, just these old people, seem to have completely gotten used to that fact that they know nobody around them. They just don't know the people around them. But that's not normal at all. I mean, we're apparently pretending like that's normal, but I think it's because people have just never experienced anything different. And most people don't have the time to think about these things. They don't have enough time. They're not weird enough, or they don't have enough time to waste to actually think about these things. But I've thought about it, and I've tried to visualize what a different society would look like. And you just gotta imagine. You really gotta take the time to imagine what a different society would look like. Imagine a society where you go outside and you live in some village or some town or something, and everyone outside that you meet, that you see, you have a vague idea of who they are, and they have a vague idea of who you are. You have a certain rapport. Maybe they know that you're the captain of the football team, they know that you're the son of the doctor or the dentist or something like that, a vague kind of knowledge of each other, kind of like you would have seen in maybe some old sitcoms that you've seen back in the day, where people just seem to have a certain warmth toward each other. You gotta imagine what kind of society that is and how precious that is. It wouldn't be so hard to have relationships, go talk to people, make friends, just interact with people every day if everyone kind of knew you a little bit. I mean, to give you an example, maybe it's easier to visualize if you have a real example, because imagine something like when you were back in school. Like when you were back in school, a lot of people say that that was their best time, and that was probably because that was a certain simulated form, kind of a small community, because that space had a lot of people that were very similar, that were the same age, that have similar interests, that have a similar kind of culture, that care about what they're doing, that have a stake, that are expected to be there, that are punished if they don't do things correctly. There's a very solid structure. You're essentially forced to be in this environment with all these people, and you stay with them for years and years. And you have to enjoy the time with them, you have to work with them, you have to go through hardships and ups and downs with them. That creates a really deep bond and a valuable relationship, a valuable environment. And that should be the entirety of society. I mean, imagine how easy it was to be in the cafeteria and go up to some guy that was in your class that you didn't really know and just say hi, just say, "Oh, how are you doing?" To say, "Oh, that's kind of a nice homework. Oh, have you done the homework? Can you help me with this?" Just imagine how easy that was, how effortless and kind of enjoyable that was. That was because there was a rapport, there was a proximity, there was similarities, there was an enclosed environment where all these people worked together and had a stake in what they were doing, and to a degree cared about each other because they had to. And that's something that's really valuable that we've completely lost at this point. And people just cannot wrap their minds around this because they've not really experienced it. And they're just told that it's completely normal that you go outside and it's a complete jungle where everyone's running around and nobody cares. And You're lucky if you meet someone that's even vaguely similar to you in any way, and you have no idea what you're doing. And after that, after a society like that, people come in and give us this boomer advice that comes from 1955 in some other place of who knows what, and they'll tell you something like, "Oh, just touch grass, bro. Just touch grass." The just touch grass made sense back in 1950 or something. If you go touch grass today, you know what's gonna happen? People are gonna think you're a crazy person, you're a homeless person. They're maybe gonna give you coins if you're lucky. That doesn't work. You can't go and sit in the grass, have a picnic, and just have people come talk to you. When's the last time you've seen something like this? People having a picnic in the grass, and just having nice interactions with the people around them. There's cars honking, there's fires, there's dogs screaming, people are running around, going to work. People are done. People don't want to deal with your bullshit. The streets are dirty. It's just not an environment where something like this can happen. And if you did this back when you were in school, if you sat in front of the grass, in the grass in front of the school, maybe you would probably get some kids who would just come and sit with you or say hi or something, or maybe you'd have friends that come sit with you, and before the school begins and other people would join in, there could actually be a certain the dynamic. There could actually be something that's getting formed by you just being there. But nowadays, in these societies, these gigantic, alienating, ever-moving societies where there's entire buildings popping up in your neighborhood that you don't understand why they're there. You don't understand who's living in them now. Entire streets who get destroyed and rebuilt. Entire places that change. Restaurants pop up all the time. Everyone's moving. Everyone's searching jobs in other cities. It's essentially not really a community at all anymore. It's really just a bunch of disjointed people that are living in an economic zone, and it's really terrible. I think a lot of people feel that the state of things is bad. They can't quite explain it because it's very delicate. It's difficult to actually explain that something's been lost, something that you've never really understood in the past, something that you've never really had, that's been lost. But I think it's pretty easy to understand that there is something valuable that was lost, especially when you compare when these better environments that we used to be in with the environments right now. And you just see the state of things where so many people have mental issues and are feeling meaningless. And I think a lot of that has to do with just not having a community that is there to sustain you, to nurture you, to give you a sense of purpose, a sense of belonging. People want to belong more than everything. It's extremely crucial. If you look at Maslow's pyramid of happiness, it's one of the levels, and it's a very good system. You need people that care about you. You need an environment where things don't change too much, where there's proximity in between people, where things actually feel like they matter, like things feel like they have a stake, that they're not going to change tomorrow, that the entire city's not going to change tomorrow, and all the people are going to change tomorrow. And it's just because it feels like it's just an arbitrary place. It doesn't feel like you're with a team. I know you could talk about this for hours, for so long, because it's such a complicated subject and it's such a misunderstood subject too. But at some point you have to stop. But this is just some basic ideas that I've been thinking about. Yeah,